Guys, today I'm going to talk about leashes. I have 3 leashes with me today, a 6-foot leash, a 30-foot leash, and a retractable one. As many of you guys may know, I have a small Maltipoo. She is about 8 pounds. She's 5 months old. And I've been trying to leash train her. I've been taking her out to potty train and just take her on brief walks. So I started off with the 6-foot leash here. And it's your standard, I would say it's your standard leash. It has a metal clasp that swivels, which is kind of nice. And at the other end of it, it has a handle with this D-ring where you can possibly hook on like a poop bag or a light, or your keys, as I've seen with some people. It is 1/2 inch in width, and it's made out of what they would call ribbon. And it's slightly reflective, so at night you should be able to see it. And it works great. It's short, as for 6 feet. I think this is probably the shortest I've seen available, and it's really good for indoor leash training. It's also good for just when I take her out to potty. The only thing I would say I don't like is that she likes to run, and since I haven't been super disciplined about keeping her really close to me, she's also constantly running ahead of me or around me, and she's very limited by the distance. And even when I walk forward, she just moves at a much faster pace. So I decided I wanted to give her more freedom, and I went ahead and got this one, which is 30 feet, a 30-foot leash used for training, also called a training leash or lead. It also has a metal swivel hook clasp here, and on the other end of it, it's a handle. And I did add this piece, this little clip here. I heard that if you clip it to your belt loop or something, this will keep her from getting away from me. So given how small she is, I have clipped it on me, but it hasn't been that helpful, I would say, or necessary. And as I mentioned, this is very tangly, so that's definitely a con for me. But there is a way you're supposed to use this, and that is you're actually supposed to loop it around your arm like this and wrap it, and then unravel it depending on how much distance you want to give your dog. So this one is thicker. This is also ribbon, but it's 3/4 inches compared to the 1/2 inch in terms of width here. You guys can see the difference. So that's one thing to consider. This one comes in multiple colors. I decided I just stick to black, but I have seen rainbow and other colors. This one is really good when I take her out to a patch of grass outside of my apartment and just let her play in that area. And I'll just leave it long hanging so that she could just run around and she doesn't get too far from me. And even if she does, I can always get her back with this. So that's kind of nice. It gives her more room to explore. I have been trying to teach her fetch. First indoors, because outdoors with all the distractions, it's really not that easy. And even outdoors with distractions, this has been kind of helpful to just try to keep her coming to me. It's really good for recall, so or I guess come when called. Like when I call her and she doesn't come because she's distracted, I could pull on this a little to have her come to me and try to enforce and establish that training habit. Easier said than done in my experience, but we're getting there. I don't use it a whole lot. I find myself taking her to the dog park a lot, but I do think it is handy. Zach George says this is something you really need. Given how small she is, I still feel conflicted. I'm glad I have it, but I just haven't made as much use as I would have expected. So, but I do sometimes do exploring walks with her where I just let her smell whatever she wants, and we roam, and I just let her and I just have this that I carry around, and people comment, oh, that's such a long leash. So I decided I would get a retractable leash, which is this one here. This one I got at Petco, It's called Flexi. I think it's the only brand that they sell there, although I could be wrong. It's the only one I saw. They have a corded version and a ribbon version. This one is a ribbon version. As you can see, it's really thin. It's even, not only is it really thin, but it's even like in terms of width, it's thinner than my 1/2 inch one here. So it's kind of nice because it's light. I did read that this one has a metal swivel clasp, but I did read that some retractable leashes have a swivel up here, and that helps minimize detangling. So I might, if I were to get another one, or if you were to get one, I might consider looking for that sort of swivel up here if that exists. The corded one, I was trying to figure out what the difference was. I've read mostly about like it's good to have a ribbon one. It seems gentler. The corded one, I read they could snap or fray over time. So it's actually really important with the retractable leashes to get one size for your dog. And what I mean size is like how much your dog weighs. This one I think was like 5 to 15 pounds or to 25 pounds. This one's 16 feet long. I think it's the perfect size for her. It's far enough to let her explore, but close enough for her to not get too far away from me. If like she runs into another dog on our walking path or something were to happen, I feel comfortable in getting to her in time if I need to. This one has a locking mechanism here. This one to lock like temporarily, and this one to kind of lock in place if you want it at a certain distance. So I have used this one. It is different because it retracts. It's constantly making that noise, and it's a little tricky when she's like really close or when she's really far to kind of close the distance. So it takes some getting used to, at least for me, and I'm kind of glad I started off with the regular standard 6-foot leash, because I feel like upgrading this, I have a good sense of distance of, okay, where 6 feet is at, and then how much farther I want her to go from 6 feet. The other thing about this leash that I thought was pretty cool was that it has this thing here where you can attach accessories like a poop bag, and then I believe there's also like a flashlight, LED flashlight attachment you can get for this for nighttime. So I thought that was really cool. Otherwise, I am liking this. I've seen a lot of people with dogs who have retractable leashes. The ribbon has gotten tangled with Pchan, but I just, I try to keep her close so it doesn't get tangled too much, or there's not a lot of pulling. With the thicker leash, it is easier to untangle her for sure. But luckily, she doesn't get too tangled in this. Or as soon as she does, I try to make sure I can untangle her. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm liking it. So anyway, that's what I have on leashes for now. Hopefully that is helpful. I as far as a recommendation, I actually like all three. I get the most use out of this one. At the dog park, it's pretty much unleashed at the one I go to. So I end up just unleashing her from when she's inside the dog park. So when she interacts and plays with dogs, it's fine. Carrying these around, I sometimes prefer this one because I could just, roll it and stick it in my pocket. This one is kind of big, but I like giving her that distance, that up to 16 feet to roam and explore without, her feeling constantly restricted or being pulled on. So that's all I have. Thanks for watching.